from Central Paranormal, and this is Paranormal Talk. And today, as I said before, we're going to explore pendulums, how they operate, and we're actually going to see a video that I made in demonstrating them on an actual session. Okay, this was recorded back in 2020 during the pandemic. So, without any further ado, let's head on over and see the video. Hi everybody, this is Denny from Warner Street Paranormal, and this is the video that I promised would be done about the use of pendulums. I want to open this up by thanking you for joining me here. I do appreciate you very, very much. Now we're going to talk a little bit about pendulums and my theory on how they work. I will again mention this theory in the video, but I want to take the time to talk to you about it so that you understand what I believe. I've listened to a lot of people talk about pendulums and how they work, and everything from really mystical to really scientific. And I have come to my own conclusion. My conclusion is this: you are moving the pendulum. The movement is imperceptible. You're not consciously doing it, but it is imperceptible. The reason you're moving it is because you know the answer. You know it's yes, or whether it's no, or whether it's maybe. You know this answer. And therefore, whatever movement that you assign to the pendulum will be the movement that you give. The question is, how do you know that answer? Here's where spirit comes in. Spirit, as you are talking to it, knows the answer. And through a ESP or a psychic connection between you and it, Spirit imparts the answer into your subconscious. And it is your subconscious that causes the pendulum to move, saying yes, no, I don't know, or in some instances to spell out a name or give a date. It is a synergistic cooperation between you holding on to the pendulum and Spirit knowing the answers. Now that's my theory on this, and I reserve the right to be absolutely wrong, but this makes the most sense to me. Now there are some folks that have gone to using a pendulum stand, and that's okay too. But what that does is that removes one link out of the chain of the communication, and that link is you. The pendulum is suspended from a stand, and it is hanging freely. Now, instead of imparting the answer to you and having you move the pendulum, Spirit now has to move the pendulum by itself. And this can be very, very hard for Spirit to do. All you've got to do is remember how many times on an investigation you've had a ball laying on the floor or whatever, and you have had Spirit to try to move it. Sometimes it moves rather freely, and other times there's barely a nudge. Well, you're having the Spirit do the same thing with the pendulum. Spirit now has to move it, taking far more energy. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It certainly does, and it's certainly something worth investigating if this is what you want to do. For myself, I will stay with holding the pendulum, and this is how my folks did it. This is how I do it, and it works for me. You don't have to do it this way. You do it however it works for you. Now, let's just talk a minute about pendulums. What can you use to make a pendulum? Anything that you can suspend from the bottom of a string. I have some examples here. This one is one of my favorites. This is a marble that's just been glued onto a string with super glue. Does it work? It works quite well. It works quite well. In fact, the matter is, it's one of my favorites. It works very, very well. You could do the same thing with a fishing weight if you wanted to. That will work well. Here's another one that I have used. It's just a little sparkly Christmas decoration. Has enough weight to swing. It is very, very easy to detect movement in. The string is just, again, glued onto it. It works quite well. And this is the one that I used in the video. And this is just a fob from a keychain, as a matter of fact, attached to a piece of thread with enough weight for it to move. I put a little red ball on there just to make it a little easier to look at when it moves. I'll set that here because we're going to use that again in a few minutes. Some people who use pendulums like to assign colors to attract male or female. For instance, they might use a light blue one like this or a darker blue one like this to attract male spirit. Does it work? Well, apparently it does. If this is what you want to do, then certainly go ahead and do that. They may use a pink colored one like this to attract female spirit. Does it work? It most certainly does. It's what they assign to it. Spirit responds to it, and there you go. Others just may have, like this purple one, just whatever spirit's there and wants to talk. Come on, you can talk. We'll do this. It's up to you. You can set it up any way you want, and it will work. Now, how do we get the pendulum to work? Okay, it's in contact with our hand. You can see here, it's in contact with my hand. I've wrapped it around my hand a couple of times because the string's rather long. Some people put their hand under it, feeling that this gives a better contact and that it gives better action to the pendulum when it swings. I've done it both ways, and it seems to work okay either way for me. How do we determine yes, no, I don't know? Okay. This will be up to you. You can hold your pendulum and you can say, okay, what is the movement for yes? And the movement for yes, it will be determined. The pendulum will swing. Now for me, the movement for yes is when the pendulum moves forwards and backwards. Now I'm manipulating this. I'm telling you that right out. I'm manipulating this. The pendulum moves forwards and backwards like this. Whether it's a wild swing or whether it's just a small one, that means yes. No is from side to side, like that. Okay? I don't know, or later, I use a circle, like that. Sometimes the pendulum does nothing. These movements are what I use. They're what a lot of people use. But again, you can set up whichever move you want to be yours. Okay? And when you use the pendulum, if you're holding on to it, hold it as still as you possibly can. And then you simply ask a yes or a no question. And you have to think about how to ask the question. For instance, if I ask the question determining whether they lived in the place, if I ask the question like, where did you live in the house? The pendulum's just going to stay pretty much doing nothing because it's not a yes or no question. I could ask rather, did you live in the downstairs bedroom? And then the pendulum can either give you a yes or it can give you a no. Ask a question that can be answered with yes or no. Now, you can get a pendulum pad. I think I've got it. I think I've got one that I made. I don't use them often. And it looks like this. Put it back here. It's got letters, it's got numbers, it's got hello and goodbye on it, and rephrase and such as that. You would put the pendulum pad down like that, and then holding the pendulum, you could ask it to spell out its name, and then it would spell out letter for letter the name. And it's not unlike using a Ouija board. Okay, you could ask it, what year were you here, and it would start pointing towards the year. And it's got hello, rephrase, maybe, and goodbye on it. Some people like to use these. It allows you to get into a more in-depth conversation with spirit. You can make one such as this, or you can spend about $20 or $25 online, and you can buy one pre-made. That choice would, of course, be up to you. Now, all this being said, we're ready to go into the video where you will see an actual spirit communication using a pendulum. I hope you enjoy it. I'm glad that you are here with me today. And so let's go ahead and go to the video and see what we can come up with. Okay, here we go. We tried this earlier today, and we had nothing but interference from spirit. So we're trying this once again. Now, I am doing everything in my power to hold my hand rock solid steady. The fact is, you are not going to keep yourself from moving the pendulum. You move it. Even though it's imperceptible, you move it. Because you move it, because you know the answer. Now, it is my philosophy and my thought that the reason you know the answer to these questions and the pendulum moves is because there is a psychic connection, ESP, if you will, between you and spirit. And when spirit answers the question, you know the answer through ESP, and you make the appropriate movement with the pendulum. Now, that's my theory. I can be dead wrong, but it is my theory. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to communicate with spirit. And we will do that. We are totally protected by the love, power of God, totally surrounded by white light. Nothing can get through that white light other than good energy that I allow in. Now, I talk to the spirit. If there be spirit here, if you are here, give me a yes on the pendulum by moving it forwards and backwards. You can see the pendulum moving. Look at my hand. It is as rock solid as I can get it. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, stop the pendulum. Now, Spirit, I want you to know that I'm not here to exploit you, make fun of you, or use you for any purpose other than that of showing people that there is survival after death of the body. And I do appreciate your help here. So now, knowing that, do you want to continue? Do you want to help me show them? Yes or no? I will take that as a yes. Thank you, Spirit. I'm going to ask a few questions. It's okay. You can let the pendulum stop now. I'm going to ask just a few questions, not prying or anything like that, but just so they will understand that you can respond and that you're here and that you have survived. Now, did you live in this house prior to your passing? That's right. Swing the pendulum really nice so they can see for sure that it's moving. You're doing a great job. I appreciate you very much. Okay, stop the pendulum. Okay. Did you pass away in this house? Okay. So you lived here and you passed here. Okay, Spirit, go ahead and stop the pendulum. Do you approve of the people that are living here today, knowing that this is a house where a number of people live that are not related? Do you approve of that? Yes or no? All right. Very good. Thank you very much, Spirit. You can stop the pendulum. Are you a male? Do you remember whether you're a male or not? Okay, apparently you do not remember. That's okay. That's perfectly all right. Are you aware that the year is 2020? You are. Thank you, Spirit. Are you concerned with this pandemic that is causing the death of so many people? Are you aware of it and are you concerned about it? Thank you, Spirit. I'm not going to ask you a bunch more questions. You have been very, very helpful. But I will ask you this. Are you stuck here in this house? You're not stuck here. Okay, stop the pendulum. Can you go back and forth between heaven and this place? Thank you, Spirit. I want to thank you for your cooperation in this. This has been a wonderful time of communication. And I want you to know that I appreciate you and that I want to continue to live in absolute peace and harmony with you. You were here before I was. This is still your place. So I thank you very, very much. Thank you, Spirit. There you have it. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Okay, until next time, stay safe in your investigations. Leave me some comments. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and let me know how we're doing. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.